Giant robots beating the shit out of dragons. If that's not the meaning of life, I don't know what is. Hello my friends and welcome to another review of Planet with the Anime Series, a show that I honestly think is going to be one of the underrated shows of the season, but every single episode manages to build upon itself and get progressively more exciting. This is the I love you kind of episode, the episode that really made me fall in love with the series. This was also the episode that I think had the most fun, and it was easily the most self-aware episode. This show knows that it's an anime and it plays with the tropes in a lot of fun ways, but for the most part, this was basically a giant 20-minute action scene of robot fights and giant corrupted dragons that can destroy cities like Godzilla. So let's get down to the nitty-gritty kitty litter that is this episode of Planet With. Picking up from the end of the last episode, Nezuya is completely knocked out. It is confirmed that he had a confrontation inside of the giant weird baby monster. See, this is why I love reviewing anime. I get to say ridiculous shit like this out loud. So getting back on track, Nezuya actually ends up having this like weird connection with the beings that are inside of these creatures, and they feed him all of these pleasant images, mostly of him being the star of his very own harem anime series. Luckily, he doesn't fall to his death. He is saved by his teammates, and they decide that they're going to make a quick retreat away, except for the fact that Haru is going to stay behind, find Soya, and battle him to the death, which leads to the best part of this episode. Soya versus Haru is a fantastic fight on its own. Actually getting to see her mech in action is great because she actually utilizes her judo fighting style, and it's really freaking impactful. I think one of my favorite things about this series, and this is gonna sound weird, is actually the sound design. Whenever there's a massive explosion or something just gets hit, like in particular by that giant cat hammer ability, you really feel it. It sounds impactful, and it adds so much to these incredibly fun and unique battles. I can honestly say I've never seen mechs like this before, and the way that they actually portray them is one of the most unique aspects of this entire series, and the battle only intensifies as Soya manages to not only use those big giant hammer cat punches, but even incorporates it into his kicks and ends up destroying both of the arms of Haru's mech, which suddenly she starts to power up like a friggin' Super Saiyan, and these giant monster arms just like erupt from the broken stubs. Basically what's going on here is her power is now being corrupted by the power of the dragon, which is actually what's in those little vials and the things that they wear around their neck. This is surely connected to the giant apocalyptic dragon in some way, and basically goes with the theory that all of these mechs were created from this dragon's corpse, or at least from its very essence, or fueled by the power that's contained within those actual capsules. But slowly but surely she starts to get more corrupted, and basically fully transforms into this gnarly looking dragon, which absolutely wastes everyone. It takes out Soya, it takes out Benika and Yosuke. Man, no one stands a chance. And at this point, Haru is basically stuck in this psychic limbo of pure red and black death, and her friends are gonna have to do some really crazy manga and anime things to save her, which is to say, this is the best part of this episode for me. It becomes self-aware at this moment, poking fun at the fact that everything that's kind of going on here is kind of like a manga. Even the character of Miu decides that she wants to save her simply by calling out to her friend, but weirdly enough, this crazy event with a girl and a mech transforming into a dragon has actually brought these people together, and they're now actually working together. So Ginkgo decides that she's going to help out Miu so she can get her closer to the dragon so she can communicate with Haru in order to get her out of her crazy funk. But while all that's going on, we finally get to see Soya and Sensei's mech go into its next evolution, where we learn that it has the ability to fly. The only way that it can pull this off is as if it drinks this very strange drink, which according to Ginkgo, will give him an extreme hangover. So he drinks this thing, and boom, he goes through a full, awesome anime transformation sequence where the Sensei robot gets covered in samurai armor, and then these giant blue fiery wings erupt from its back. And to top it all off, it has Wolverine claws, and it brings all of that goodness to the party in a fantastic action sequence, enhancing its speed, its power, and watching it fight against this dragon while it's flying around in the sky is simply just a thing of beauty. But wait, it gets crazier. Soya and his mech actually grab onto Ginkgo and Miu and throws them like a friggin' baseball towards this dragon, which swallows them, and then eventually Haru is able to be saved by Miu, saving the day and destroying this dragon. Whew, that was an absolutely ridiculous episode. And you know what? It's not even over yet, there's a great post-credit scene in this episode which follows up on all of these events. Most of the people in this town have decided to get out, what with all the giant UFOs and all, but some people are still in town, such as Nozomi, who's the good friend of Soya, so of course we have to build on their relationship probably in the next episode. But the episode ends with getting a little bit more into what the deal is with Grand Paladin. What is their overall goal? And after all of the events what happened with Haru transforming into a dragon and teaming up with their supposed enemies, Benica has some doubts of some things that are going on with Grand Paladin. She questions the leader, who's very vague about everything, but he sort of confirms that they're going to take over the world with their psychic abilities. So Benica wants none of that shit. She doesn't want to transform into a dragon. Benica gets the hell out of Dodge. Yosuke follows her, and the episode ends with me going, wow, I really hope people are watching this anime series. So what's the rundown on this episode of Planet With? This series seems to get better with every single episode, and I love how it's actually starting to make sense the more that it actually goes on, basically learning that that massive apocalyptic dragon that destroys worlds, its very power is used to fuel these giant photon god particle armors, whatever the hell they're called, and if you get corrupted and if your psychic link gets corrupted, it takes over and it transforms into a dragon. I will say, though, I love the designs of everything in the series. If it's not the mechs themselves, that dragon itself looked really awesome and just so creepy with its lifeless eyes. And I loved the weird little, wing jets that are on its back. It's just a very unique look. With its striped tail, too, it reminds me a lot of the leader of Grand Paladin's actual mech. There's probably a connection there to show that he's easily the most corrupted out of all of them, but somehow is able to keep his power in check. Also, it might have been obvious before, but basically the leader of Grand Paladin, dude with the creepy glowy eyes, and the green-haired woman Shiraishi, they're sort of like a parallel to Soya, Ginkgo, and Sensei. At least that's the way that I actually see it, with the anthropomorphic dog actually being their secret leader. Maybe that's truly what's going on here, and they're just sort of pulling the strings behind the scenes. It's still just a giant war of cats and dogs, but it continues to get even more fun. Obviously, this episode just had a lot of fun with its action, though, which is definitely the highlight. It was really bombastic, fun, and creative, and I especially loved getting to see Soya and Sensei's robot get that upgrade with the samurai armor and the wings. The Wolverine claws really were just the cherry on top of the kick-ass sundae on that one. Just really loved that design so much. Initially, the mecha design of this series actually kind of turned me off. It was just so strange, but little by little, I've just learned to truly love it. It's just one of the coolest things I've ever seen, in particular the main character's mech, Soya. It just really looks great. So this was an episode that actually took itself a little more seriously, but again, it still managed to reel back before things got too dark and still managed to have a lot of fun with its concept. This is Planet With. You definitely need to be checking this show out. I honestly think it's going to be one of the biggest sleeper hits of the anime season. So I'm giving this episode a 5 out of 5. If any of you guys watched it, I definitely want to hear what you guys had to think about it. I truly got a lot of enjoyment out of this one. It's such a unique and fun series that's self-aware at the same time. It's an anime for anime's sake, and it's truly doing some unique things. But tell me what you liked or did not like about it, your theories and hopes and dreams for what you want to see from the future of Planet With. Thank you guys for watching this review. I'll see you guys next time, and as always, stay down there, baby.